Julius Clay.
People. Erica Julia Kern, on behalf of Julius Clay. Julius, can you state your name for the record?
Thank you. Taking time for preliminary examination of the people. Ready to proceed.
We are ready to proceed. We're ready to begin. We'll not be able to conclude today, unfortunately, because one of the deputies said has some of our information is not available, but we will be able to proceed today with the civilian witness requesting an adjournment conclusion of our testimony.
I was, after the state was set, Ms. Hughes did send me an email subsequent to that stating that she had learned that Deputy Luke would not be available today, that she believed that she would need him in order to conclude the exam. I did not have a particular response for that. I understand that that can occur. So I wasn't sure who the people were proceeding with for today, but we do intend to.
All right, so you don't have any objection to start. I mean, I would grant the adjournment.
I understand that, Your Honor. So I don't have a response to the fact that the people would do that.
Okay, did you want to start today? I mean, I realize it's sometimes a matter of preference. It may be what the defendant wishes to have happen. Did you want to begin today, or did you want me to? My next date, well, when do we know when the deputy's available?
Detective Luke will be back next week, Your Honor.
So just so that you know, I have time available. I could hear it 1 week from today and it would all be together, or I can break it apart. It's up. But if I adjourn it out, so that you also know, if I adjourn it out, it will be adjourned to June 11th.
May we approach, Your Honor?
This always happens with you, Julian. Yes. No, you always just want to talk to me. I know. Come on. But I'll come up and see Miss Landy. I don't. Okay, call your first witness.
You call Alan Duva.
Sir, please come forward and be sworn.
Before you take a seat, raise your right hand, please. You solemnly swear to affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Have a seat.
You need to, yeah, he does.
Need you to state and spell your first and last name for the record.
Alan Duva, ALANE, is in David U, B in Victor A.
All right, you may inquire.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Duva, can you hear me okay? Excellent.
Was that a yes, sir? Okay, thank you.
Mr. Duva, where do you live? What lot number? Is that in Washtenaw County, state of Michigan? Were you living there on February 7th, 2024? Did something happen that day that it caused the police to show up to your home?
Yes, but morning, so the knock at the door, and I answered it, and two men came in. Kim, the girl that was on the drug victim trailer, said that they were trying to chase the child.
Sustained.
So let's break that down a little bit. You said there was a knock at the door and two men came in. How did they come in?
It wasn't where I opened the screen door and they entered and went directly into the front bedroom, which is right next to the front door.
Did you invite them to come inside?
Not really.
Did you say anything to them? Did they make physical contact with your body when they came inside? What happened when they were already inside of your home?
Jim said that they were trying to take the child.
So
Sustained.
one of the things about these questions I'm going to ask you, we're not going to talk about anything that anybody except the men said or you said, okay? So what happened when they came inside? They went to the bedroom? Who was staying in that bedroom?
Kim.
What's Kim's last name?
Trying to think about that.
How do you know Kim?
She was the daughter of one of the girlfriends.
The daughter of one of your girlfriends? About how old do you think Kim is? Was there anyone else staying in the house? Any children?
Yes.
Say it again for me, please.
Her son,
About how old is her son?
around 2.
So when the men went into the bedroom, without telling me what somebody said, what happened next?
Walked into the doorway and Julius Clay stood in front of me.
Objection, Your Honor. There's a total lack of foundation for that statement.
Sustained.
So there was somebody that stood in front of you. Do you see that person in the courtroom today?
I think so. There's a person that I'm looking at.
Your Honor, may the people request that the defendant remove his mask to see if it's the same person that the witness saw that day?
Response.
There, to be frank with you, I find this, I guess I don't, I have to, he could not identify any other person. And it is highly suggested to have Mr. Clay sitting at this table, and somebody must have informed him of Mr. Clay's name, because that was never a part of any of these reports. And so I have great concerns about whether or not he's about to make a misidentification.
Do we have to go through my?
What? 1 second, sir. 1 second. Thank you.
What did you say? Do we have to go through your phone?
Yes, there's a number of conversations about this case. And
Okay,
their
hold on,
names-
sir. Pardon?
And their names been brought up.
Okay, but that, I think that complicates things even further, but for the purposes of looking at the identification, I don't want to know what was said, but who brought up the name to you? Um, as you sit here today, without those conversations or whatever else was said, as you sit here today, do you recall what the individuals entering the home looked like?
Someone, yeah.
Okay. And do you believe that as you sit here today, based upon seeing them presumably on that day, that you could tell whether or not somebody was there?
Yes.
Is that absent the conversations that you had?
Yes.
So the individuals that entered your home, how do you know their name? If you do.
I know one of them is named Ryan. I can't.
Okay, but did you,
And the other one is Julius.
sir, you can stay right there. Let's take him back. Counsel, I want to see him.
Yes, Your Honor.
Court is standing in recess.
All rise.
Have him brought out, yeah.
You don't want him brought out?
Well, the whole issue, if Mr. Duva is going to be excused for the moment so that we can change over.
Can we call the case, Your Honor?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Court recalls the case of People versus Clay.
Ashley Londy for the people.
Erica, we have to explain why I have to stay back for the moment so we can sort through this issue.
All right, go ahead. What would you like to say?
Obviously, we got a break to hear concerns regarding potential for identification or misidentification of this witness. What I would ask at this time is that this witness be excused at this moment. I know that the exam is going to be adjourned to another date anyway, and I need to evaluate the testimony that was just received, as well as next steps for the defense regarding how I might handle that legally. And so in order to protect the record from what might be perceived as future taint, I would just ask Mr. Clay.
Understood. Right. All right. And I understand that. And just so that the record is clear, without going into the specifics, this court had heard the examination of the co-defendant. There are some concerns that the court has and should allow counsel for the defendant to explore regarding the purported, or what I suspect will be an in-court identification of the defendant in light of that testimony. I'll leave it there so that I don't say too much, but we'll do that. I will then excuse this witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. And as the people indicated in chambers, it is our intent to recall this person when this
Yes.
case is adjourned to on June 11th.
Yes. Thank you, sir. You may step down. All right, he has now left the courtroom. We can bring the defendant out. We're on the record in the People versus Clay matter. The record should reflect that Mr. Clay is now present in the courtroom.
Thank you. I just may have one.
All right, let me call your next witness.
Thank you. The people called DeAndre Burton.
Sir, please come forward to be sworn.
Will you take a seat, raise your right hand? You solemnly swear to affirm the testimony about the guilt, the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I did.
Have a seat. State spell your first and last name for the record, please.
First name is DeAndre, E-R-E, last name Burton, B-U-R-T-O-N.
You may inquire.
Thank you. Sir, how are you employed?
Work for Washington Sheriff's Office.
In what capacity?
I work for the Police Services as Deputy Sheriff.
How long have you been a deputy sheriff with the Washtenaw County Sheriff's Department?
2 years now.
Were you so employed on or about February 7th, 2024?
Yes,
What shift were you working that day?
in that shift.
And were you assigned to a specific area or what?
Yes, I was assigned to 6,000 Rose Drive.
Did you respond to an address on Julie Drive that night? Do you remember that address?
Yes, it was 9904 Judy Drive, lot 221.
Is that in Ypsilanti, Michigan, Washtenaw County, state of Michigan?
Yes.
What happened when you arrived at that scene?
The patient was pretty, she was crying, she was hysterical. She stated that her son was just taken by her child's mother.
How many people were at that address when you responded there?
A total of 3.
How many males, how many females?
1 male, 2 females.
Did you happen to make contact with the male at that location?
No, my partner did.
Did you observe that male?
Yes, I did.
Did you later come to know his name?
Yes.
What was it?
Alan?
Alan? Did you observe any injuries on Alan?
Yes, he had an injury to his head,
Do you recall where?
like in the middle of his head.
Okay, you're using your hand and you're sort of circling around the back crown of your head. Is that correct? Can you describe the injury that you saw? Did you make contact with any suspects at that location? Remember, one moment, please.
Yes.
Pass the witness.
All right.
I have no questions for this witness. Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, Deputy. You may step down.
Thank you. Your Honor, I believe the date that court said was perhaps June 11th.
Yes. So we will stop this examination at this point. Preliminary examination will be adjourned. Court's continuation to June 11th, 2024 at 11 a.m.
11 a.m. Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, before me. Thank you. Bond will continue at this time.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Did you explain to him why?
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Mr. Clay, bring him back out here. Where'd she go? That way. Mr. Clay, don't act that way in my courtroom.
I'm sorry, I apologize.
Ever, ever. I realize that you want this to proceed at a certain pace. Rest assured, part of the reason that the conference was taken in my chambers with your attorney was she was seeking to make sure that all of your rights were protected. You acting like that, quite frankly, and I hate putting it this way, but acting a fool leaving my courtroom does not help that circumstance. She will explain to you everything that's going on and why. So am I understood that you will not act that way ever again here?
Yes, sir. I apologize.
Thank you. He may go, Bond, continue.